the flashing lights of 1,000 cameras, the roar of the crowd. A princess, crowned in the throes of a whirlwind romance. Yet, in the shadow of her gilded cage, a different narrative began to unfold. This isn't the story of a pop star, a global icon whose name alone conjures images of chart-topping hits and sold-out stadiums. This is the story of Britney Spears, not as we knew her on stage, but as the person she fought to reclaim within the confines of a system designed to protect, yet ultimately held her captive. This is the mystery of Britney Spears, a saga of control, power, and the fight for a woman's own voice. Britney Jean Spears, a name synonymous with pop royalty, emerged onto the music scene in the late 1990s, a dazzling comet streaking across the pop culture sky. Hailing from the small town of Kentwood, Louisiana, her journey to superstardom was a classic American dream narrative. With a voice that soared and a talent that transcended mere performance, she captivated the world. Baby One More Time catapulted her to global stardom, and subsequent albums cemented her status as a generational talent. She was young, beautiful, and seemingly invincible. But behind the glittering facade of fame and fortune, an unseen storm was brewing. Her career, initially a fairy tale, was spiraling into a crisis. Divorce, postpartum struggles, and the relentless pressure of the industry began to take their toll. Her parents, Lynn and Jamie Spears, had played significant roles in her career from its beginning, navigating the entertainment world to support their daughter's burgeoning talent. Jamie, a man known for his tough demeanor and business acumen, acted as a staunch manager, while Lynn offered maternal support. By the mid-2000s, however, the cracks began to show. Britney's public behavior became increasingly erratic, sparking concern and a flurry of media attention. These circumstances would eventually lead to a legal intervention that would change her life forever. The pivotal year, 2007, saw a cascade of events that would dramatically alter Britney's life and propel her into the center of a legal battle that would grip the nation. The infamous head-shaving incident, a desperate act of defiance witnessed by paparazzi gathered outside a Los Angeles salon, and the subsequent umbrella assault on a photographer's car, were stark visual representations of her unraveling. These highly publicized incidents fueled the growing concern about her mental health, painting a picture of a woman on the brink. The media, a relentless predator in this saga, amplified these moments, feeding the frenzy with every misstep, often portraying her through a lens of sensationalism and judgment, rather than empathy. In January 2008, following a contentious custody battle with her ex-husband, Kevin Federline, over their two young sons, Sean Preston and Jaden James, a court-ordered psychiatric evaluation in the stark, sterile environment of UCLA Medical Center triggered what would become the core of the mystery. On February 1, 2008, a Los Angeles court, in a swift and seemingly perfunctory proceeding held in a hushed courtroom, placed Britney under a temporary conservatorship. This legal mechanism, typically reserved for individuals deemed incapable of managing their own affairs due to severe mental or physical illness, became a tool that gave her father, Jamie Spears, complete control over her finances, her career, and even her personal life. The temporary order, granted in the wake of intense media scrutiny and public worry, swiftly evolved into a permanent arrangement, becoming the legal prison from which Britney would struggle for over a decade to escape. Jamie, a man now holding immense power over his famous daughter, along with attorney Andrew Wallet, were appointed co-conservators of her estate and person, setting in motion a complex and deeply troubling legal precedent. The conservatorship granted Jamie, with co-conservator Wallet, extensive power. He controlled her estimated $60 million fortune, negotiated lucrative contracts for her tours and endorsements, approved every medical treatment, and dictated where she could live, even controlling her personal relationships and decisions regarding her body. The pop star, at the height of her artistic and commercial power, had effectively lost all autonomy. The world outside saw the professional Britney, the one on stage in her sequined costumes, the captivating figure in music videos, and the polished persona on television. But the reality behind the stage curtain, a life lived under constant surveillance and dictated by others, was a different narrative, one of isolation and suffocating control. The details of this hidden existence were the mystery that grew over the years and would fuel the public's curiosity, and, throughout the conservatorship years, glimpses of the person Britney was battling to retain began to emerge, like faint signals from behind a thick fog. Brief moments of defiance, a flicker of anger in her eyes during court appearances, hints of profound sadness in her carefully curated social media posts. The meticulously constructed persona that the conservatorship demanded was under constant scrutiny, both from those who maintained it and those who sought to understand it. The public, though, largely saw the controlled narrative, the seemingly compliant pop star who was performing regularly, releasing new music, and fulfilling her professional obligations, a testament to her enduring talent and dedication. But there was an undeniable undercurrent of disquiet, a pervasive sense that something wasn't right, a dissonant note in the otherwise harmonious symphony of her public life. The truth lay hidden, shrouded behind closed doors, locked away by legal jargon and the power dynamics at play. As the years ticked by, rumors and whispers began to circulate, fanned by the wind of speculation. Hints of her struggles, of a life lived under duress, reached her devoted fans through the nascent landscape of social media. And this is where the story truly transforms into an intricate mystery. In the era of hyperconnectivity, these fan communities, bound by their shared admiration and growing concern, became vigilant observers. They saw the subtle clues, the carefully chosen words in her Instagram captions, the seemingly innocuous emojis, the messages that felt coded or incomplete, pregnant with unspoken meaning. This network, a collective of dedicated and perceptive observers, began to analyze every post, every interview, every public appearance for evidence of Britney's true feelings, her internal state. Their concern, initially a shared whisper, grew into a passionate outcry. And, against the backdrop of a world still captivated by the enduring allure of the pop star, the hashtag #FreeBritney movement was born, a digital force ignited by a desire for truth and liberation. The hashtag #FreeBritney campaign was more than just a hashtag. It was a formidable grassroots movement that mobilized fans and supporters worldwide, transforming online discourse into tangible action. They demanded transparency and accountability, relentlessly questioning the legal system that held Britney captive, shining a spotlight on its potential for abuse. They delved into court documents, piecing together fragments of information, shared theories, and amplified Britney's coded messages, building a community of voices that, over time, became increasingly powerful and undeniable. These voices would grow into a deafening chorus that the system, which had so tightly held her, could no longer afford to ignore. The narrative of the mystery that had formed around her life was finally beginning to crack the surface, allowing the truth to seep through. The relentless pressure from fans, combined with the growing scrutiny of the media and the eventual involvement of investigative journalists, ultimately led to significant legal battles and internal conflicts within the Spears family. Britney herself, after years of silence and what she later described as fear, began to make her voice heard through legal channels, and the details she shared were nothing short of shocking. She testified in court, a moment broadcast globally, describing the conservatorship as abusive and detailing a life stripped of her most basic rights. She alleged that she was forced to perform against her will, that she was controlled in every aspect of her life, including her reproductive choices, and that she was denied basic freedoms that most people take for granted. Her testimony was a watershed moment, a raw and unfiltered outpouring of years of suppressed pain and longing for freedom. The world heard Britney Spears, vulnerable and defiant, sharing the truth she had held captive for so long, her voice trembling but firm. The revelations were jarring and deeply disturbing, exposing the dark underbelly of a system meant to protect. But her courage spurred the necessary action. The public was now forced to reckon with the stark reality of her situation, and the legal system, pressured by widespread public outcry and the mounting evidence, began to shift. In September 2021, After years of arduous legal battles and unwavering public campaigns, Jamie Spears was finally suspended as conservator of his daughter's estate, a monumental victory for Britney and her legions of supporters. On November 12, 2021, in a momentous decision that reverberated across the globe, the court officially terminated the conservatorship, granting Britney her freedom after 13 years of legal captivity. The mystery that swirled for so long seemed to be resolved. Britney Spears, as a legally free woman, now possesses the power to control her own affairs, her career, and her life. She has married her longtime boyfriend, Sam Asghari, and, in a public acknowledgement that brought both joy and subsequent heartbreak, revealed that they were expecting a child, though she later revealed she had suffered a miscarriage. There's a palpable sense of hope and resilience in her journey, and her determination to heal, to regain control, and to live life on her own terms is an inspiration. Her story serves as a potent reminder of the complexities of mental health, the perils of unchecked power, and the profound importance of protecting the autonomy of vulnerable individuals. The impact of this case extends far beyond the glittering world of celebrity. It ignited crucial conversations about conservatorship laws, the potential for abuse within legal systems, and the urgent need for greater transparency and accountability. The hashtag #FreeBritney movement served as a powerful testament to the collective power of the public and the vital importance of holding those in positions of power accountable, ensuring that such injustices are not repeated.